Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about Guardian leveling for Path of Exile 3.23 Affliction League and everything you need to know. Go from level 1 Templar on the beach to a full maxed out Guardian. Get ready for maps. So this whole video is going to be about getting the process from level 1 to the mapping portion of the character, and that is because I'm still waiting on Transfigured Gems and Gem Info before I want to commit to a full build end of league build guide. But I wanted to at least get the leveling portion. I'll go in for you because it's going to take us a few days more yet to get the Transfigured Gems. So we're going to jump into just the Guardian leveling portion, what I'm going to be doing. I'm fully committed to playing Guardian for League Start. I think it's by far the best League Starter, and there's a bunch of new minion gems I want to try out that I've already piqued my interest, and I just want to get a little bit more info on before I make a full build guide. So I thought we're going to do this in a few parts then. I'm going to do the whole full leveling walkthrough in this video. Let's jump into the Guardian leveling for 3.23. So, why Guardian? So, my opinion, by far, this is the easiest League Starter. I think it has the two best first ascendancies in the game. Sentinel of Radiance. Basically, you get a giant Righteous Fire minion that just follows you around, and he is literally like screen-wide Righteous Fire with the increased area effect for minions mastery. I mean, and I'm not kidding, like it's actually like screen-wide. Your enemy there is burning, does a ton of damage. He is the Radiant Crusade. He takes 20% damage from hits. It's taken from him before you. He has a huge health pool. He pretty much never dies. This is an incredible minion. Downside of this guy is he's extremely slow walking, slow attacking, and just kind of clunky. You have to resummon him like every 35-ish seconds after you get a little bit of skill effect duration. It's not so bad. The second part of why Guardian is the Unwavering Crusade. This is your second ascendancy. Basically, this will see it triggers level 20 summon Element Thorix. When you get all three of these up, which depending on build, minion builds are really easy to get this up all the time. You have a Wrath, Anger, and Hatred aura just around you at all times. This is absolutely insane. These are 50% auras that just give you a ton of damage. They scale with your character all the way up to level 85, at which point they'll be level 27 auras. These two ascendancies combined make this character absolutely busted, by far the best League Starter, and which is why I will be League starting Guardian in this league. That said, we are going full from level 1 all the way to mapping. I want to go reach the breakpoints, and there's some decisions to make along the way. I'm talking about what those are in this video. So level 1 through 12, this is Act 1. You are not a Guardian yet, obviously. You have not ascended, and you don't have access to a lot of fun skills, but luckily Templar has probably the best early game skill in Rolling Magma. Rolling Magma is a little bit of a clunky skill to play. You can see you kind of like throw out a ball, it'll bounce a couple times, and deal damage in like a little bit of an AoE splash each time it hits the ground. So this is going to be your main damage dealing skill for Act 1. Ideally you're looking for a blue setup, so that's Rolling Magma, Elemental Proliferation, and Combustion. All these are rewards. Rolling Magma is your first option when you get off the beach. Elemental Proliferation you get for free on the beach, and Combustion is your level 8 reward. Along with that, you're going to get Holy Flame Totem and Flame Wall, and then I recommend War Banner, and one of the dash skills, Frostblink, is free, so I use Frostblink. Basically the way you set this up is you're just going to play Rolling Magma. You will ideally throw it through your Flame Wall for a little bit of add extra damage, use up your Holy Flame Totem, pop War Banner on bosses for a little bit of added damage, and then just Frostblink around. Pretty simple. The only cool little trick with Rolling Magma is this thing can hit multiple times, so ideally when you're fighting a boss, you'll bounce it right in front of the boss, and then it'll bounce again right behind the boss. Basically, you're doing double damage each time you cast Rolling Magma then. This is what makes Rolling Magma so strong, why you see a lot of people play it. It does have a little bit of skill, so make sure you uncheck the box to always move when attacking. You just want to cast it wherever your cursor is. You don't want a character move first. So that is my little tip for Rolling Magma. But it's a really super strong skill, and it's going to lead us into what to do after Act 12. Or sorry, after level 12, Act 1. Basically what I've concluded is that you have two options if you're going into Guardian. You will get at level 12. You can continue playing Rolling Magma, and you're going to go into Armageddon Brand later. Level 28, you unlock Armageddon Brand, so that's option 1. I'm calling that the spells option. The other option you have is option 2, which is the minions option. You're going to rely on mostly Absolution and Raise Zombie. So these do have pluses and minuses. I want to talk about a little bit now. First of all, option 1 spells is probably going to be your higher damage, a little bit faster. You're transitioning from, because you're already leveling up these abilities, you're already using these abilities to clear Act 1. You can just keep on going. You're trucking through, add on more stuff as you get there. Option 2, minions, kind of requires like a little bit of a reset. You need a red, blue, ideally to get Absolution going. Zombies, you want a little bit of defenses in your passage tree. Zombies feel pretty bad before you get any minion life regeneration. So that's why I don't recommend switching this until Act 2. You certainly can try this in Act 1. I've had pretty mixed results with how good these two abilities are in Act 1, though. If you're super keen on getting minions early, definitely go with this. It's like slightly worse than the spells option, but I think it makes for an easier, you don't have to like respec your tree at all later. It kind of makes for an easier path going forward. So option 1 spells, this is pretty much the same as we were doing in Act 1. We're looking for a Rolling Magma, LE Prolif Combustion. We're going to add an Armageddon Brand level 28 with Combustion. We're going to keep using Holy Flame Totem, and then we're going to add an Elemental Weakness as our curse spell. I believe you get at level 24. So this is a pretty good setup. You can pretty much clear everything you need up until first lab with this, no problem. You can just keep on trucking. It's good to go. It's been like a tried and true like speedrunning method too. It's like good setup, just kind of perfect all around. There's nothing you really need to do here. Option 2 I think is much more interesting. It's one that gets played a little bit less often, but this is pretty fun too. It's slightly less, I would say it's slightly slower, slightly less damage, but it is minions, and if that's what you're looking to do, this is what I would recommend. Absolution, Fizz to Lightning minion damage is your main link. That is red, blue, blue. I used Raise Zombie with Ruthless. Raise Zombie with minion damage will do more damage, but your zombies are going to be super weak. I don't recommend it. You just don't have the health. Maybe the changes to the gem to add more minion life to them will help, but that doesn't seem to scale until the end game. So Raise Zombie Ruthless is a good option. I throw in summon skeletons with minion damage. These guys are going to be super squishy. You just throw them down on bosses, basically, and they'll pump out some damage for you. And then the nice thing about this one is you basically can tack on anything from option 1 if you have space available as well. So Holy Flame Totem, if you have available, is super nice. You get Consecrated Ground from the Holy Flame Totem. Actually helps your zombies and Absolution minions just kind of stay alive. You can still use Rolling Magma, Flame Wall. Again, this is all socket dependent. If you have the space, you can tack in anything from option 1 into the minions. If you have like really good luck, you get a lot of sockets early that all make sense to you and are on good pieces of gear, this can actually do more damage than the spells option. It's just pretty unlikely, but there you go. Alright, so that either of those will get you all the way to your first ascendancy pretty easily. First ascendancy is be around level 30-ish. Regardless of which option you choose, you're going for the Sentinel of Radiance. This is the Radiant Crusade option. And then after you finish, you're going to add on Convocation. And this is actually now your nuclear skill. You're going to get this ability on your action bar for Summon Sentinel of Radiance. This guy is an absolute monster. He deals fire damage per second in an area around him. He takes 20% damage from hits from you, basically gives you Fortify. He has a huge life pool. Whatever it says, I've never seen him actually die. He only disappears when his timer runs out. He does have a timer, so he has a mana cost, and he has a minion last a certain amount of time. So that is your big clearing damage dealing skill. It's super effective, and probably the strongest first ascendancy in the game. Alright. Level 38. Level 30 is actually going to be your main swap. This is like, both your options are like combined at this point. You're going into this setup regardless, because this is going to be your strongest ability. Ideally at this point you have a 4-link. If you only have a 3-link, that's fine too, but we definitely want to do Summon Raging Spirits with Unleash and minion damage. That is 3 blues. And then ideally we have a 4th red socket for elemental damage with attacks, and that'll be your main damage setup, honestly, until like well into mapping. So Summon Raging Spirits is a super good ability because you basically get 20 Summon Raging Spirits right away. They do full Fizz to Fire conversion, so you can still use Elemental Weakness. We're still using Convocation with our Sentinel. Unleash super helps with Summon Raging Spirit. I hate playing this ability before I have Unleash, just because you have to summon each skull individually. With Unleash you can summon 3 at a time and get them all out pretty quickly. Makes the ability much nicer to play. My main setup after this is I'm going to be using Skitterbots for Shock and Chill. Shield Charge and Frostblink or Flame Dash, whatever you want to do. Just Shield Charge and some sort of Blink ability. Elemental Weakness, and then a Carrion Golem. Again, if I don't have anything linked to these, I don't think you need anything linked to them. They're perfectly fine on their own. You just kind of want that setup going. Alright, so your next swap, that'll get you all the way through Act 5. Next setup swap will come at Act 6 when you have access to all of the gems from Lily. So this is going to be our setup. Honestly, this whole setup, this is going to take you all the way to the end of Act 10, Katava, so this is really where the bulk of what we're going to see going on here. Again, we're going to use the same SRS, Unleash, Minion Damage, Elemental Damage with Attack setup, 4-link setup, Convocation just to move our guys around a little bit easier. We're going to link Carrion Golem with Feeding Frenzy for sure. Feeding Frenzy is a huge buff granted to the player whenever Carrion Golem hits. And then if you have a triple blue setup, you can add Elemental Army, you can apply Elemental, you can apply Exposure to the strongest elemental, whatever he's dealing. Well, ideally, that would be fire. If you're out to get like a little bit of fire onto your fire damage onto your Carrion Golem, you can put Fire Exposure onto whatever your SRS and Sentinel Radiance are attacking, which is super, super nice. Next up, we have shield charge, faster attacks. So I want to move around but faster. Shield charge, super nice. Just keep zooming through the map. Once you get shield charge, faster attacks, you are just flying on this build. And that is because we are socking in haste and skitter bots. And then I always throw in Tempest Shield, but that is after we get Eldritch Battery. You'll see on the tree that Eldritch Battery is kind of far away from the Templar start, but it's definitely worth the travel and going to. You want to make sure that when you switch to Eldritch Battery, you also have enough energy shield that you can actually still play the game. So these three will take about all of your mana, so you can only stock up the haste and skitter bots before you have Eldritch Battery. Lastly, we're going to have Elemental Weakness for our Curse, and then just Flame Dash or Frostblink, whichever you prefer to use. Alright, next up, second lab. Obviously we're going to Unwavering Crusade. This is our chance to trigger the Holy Relics around us that give us the insane triple damage aura. This is like the biggest damage spike in the game. Super important to recognize that your Summon Raging Spirits are actually doing physical damage, which they convert into fire damage. The Anger, Hatred, and Wrath auras scale Hatred especially scales super well with physical damage. Basically we're just getting 350% auras for free. Absolutely insane early game, can carry your entire class. So easy second choice. I do this one as soon as I get to Sarn in beginning of Act 8, that is. Do it right away. As long as your character's feeling strong, which it should be if you're following this guide. Third lab, Bastion of Hope is super strong. This gives you plus 25% to block attack damage and spell damage if you cast a attack skill and a spell recently being the last 4 seconds. It's huge damage animation, block chance. We're kind of getting on block build. You can see Tempest Shield in there. We're basically getting between that and this, we're getting to like over 50% spell block just from that alone. Between shield charge being an attack and then convocation, we get about 100% uptime with Bastion of Hope on both sides. So it's super easy just to get plus 25 chance to block attack and spell for basically free. That's it. From here on, it is time to map. So these are the things I look for, and I'm going into mapping, kind of add to the build as I feel like needed. Determination, I add when I feel like my character's defense is starting to get a little weak, not really feeling it great. Then at that point, I'll move Haste to Divine Blessing, so Haste becomes a casting ability, and I always have Determination up. Works out really nice. I think about adding Spectres, and then Animate Guardian's like a really super late like red map thing for me. Once I have like a nice like level 19, level 20 Animate Guardian jewel, and then some gear I can put onto him. I definitely don't want to send him out there with not the right defenses. Spectres I like to use. I actually love Wild Bristle Matron. I think it's one of the like best defensive Spectres in the game, but I'll be talking more about that when I do my late game build guides for this Ascendancy. Other than that, you're going to look to add Desecrate and Flesh Offering for more added attack and cast speed for your minions. Last thing I want to talk about is gear to look out for while you are progressing through your X. You're going to do minion wands, so these are calling, convening, invoking. As you get further in the map, they become just a little bit better. Convoking is your highest tier. Basically, you're just going to identify any of these that drop, especially anything that drop rare. I would save your essences for these. Basically, we're looking for minion damage, minion attack, cast speed on these. Nothing else to it. We're also looking for the minion shields, fossilized spirit shields. Again, you're looking for minion damage, some defenses, life rolls, minion crit chance is fine. A little bit of minion defenses on here can be good, but basically minion damage is one of the biggest ones you're looking out for as the rolls on your fossilized spirit shield. I always say you want to look for armor and ES bases, just because it's easier to use socket colors, or you're doing a ton of blue and red sockets. And also, you want to make sure that since we're going to be armor-based class, we also need enough ES to use Eldritch Battery, so getting a little bit of energy shield is why we take Melding on the tree. Make sure to get our Eldritch Battery up. Eldritch Battery basically solves all our mana problems. It's just really good, so use it. Alright, we come to the end of the first part of my Guardian build guide for the League. Next up for me is going to be making some endgame Guardian minion build guides. So if you want to see more of those, I have a couple in mind. I'm going to be looking at Carrion Golem. I want to see the Transfigured Gems for Carrion Golem first, which you haven't gotten yet. And then we got the Range and Weapon Transfigured Gem, which looks super promising to me. So if you want to see those build guides, make sure to click the subscribe button. If you stuck it out this long, make sure to click the like. Comment down below anything on Guardian. I think it's going to be incredibly popular. I know a bunch of major like other content creators have been playing this build, but I really started Guardian last week. I can tell you right away it's super busted. So you don't take it from anybody who didn't play it already. It's crazy good. Other than that, PoE is down below. I put down steps to go from Act 1, each level of progression of which direction to go. If you want to do option 1, option 2 for spells or minions, I kind of just mapped it all out of where I want to end up, and then I put the end game of where I want to be for my skill set in there. There's no items. Don't use it as like a DPS guide. That this PoE is just made to get you from level 1 to white maps, and I think it does a good job of that. So other than that, I'm going to wrap it up there. Again, thank you for watching, and check out more. We're going to have the Carrying Golem and Range Anime Weapon hopefully coming up, build guides very soon. Thanks, bye.